Hi everyone, welcome to Goms Tech Talks channel. I'm Dr. Gomati. In this video, we are going to see completely about list in Business Central. So, list in the sense we'll be discussing about what is list, okay? When it is used like a real time scenario, real life scenario of where this list is used, okay? And what are the built-in functions in list? Okay, what are the various built-in functions in list and how it is used? I'll be writing the code in front of you and explain you where how you can use it with a simple example. So before we proceed into the concept, I would like to tell you that this is my YouTube channel where you can see the complete playlist of Business Central here. Okay, so you can see the complete playlist of Business Central. If you haven't subscribed before, please subscribe it now. And if you want to join my community, please click here and join my community so that you will get access to the lot and lot of unique resources and the project resources projects and that is how to implement a project and everything. And this is my blog. If you're not following my blog, please follow it, and you can see various important information in my blog. So let us straight away go to the concept of list. So as I told, let me first explain you what is list. Okay, so what is list? So if you talk about list, a list is a data structure. So this data structure is to store a collection of elements. Okay, it allows for dynamic resizing, efficient element manipulation, and provides various methods for performing operations on the elements. So lists are commonly used to manage and manipulate set of related data in application such as managing customer list, product catalogs, shopping carts, and more. So the list can be created with the data types like text, integer, boolean, almost all the data type like decimal, date. Okay, so we can use these we can create a list in most of the data types which are there in BC. So now let us understand the real life scenario of a list. Okay, so where this list is used, so I can tell you with the real life scenario like sales order processing. Okay, let us have a best example. Sales order processing. In sales order processing system, you need to manage a list of products that a customer has ordered. Okay, the listed data structure proves to be useful for handling this situation. So sales order in the sense the customer has ordered some list of products. Okay, so how you will be handling it? So you can create a list. Okay, so you can create a list to store the products in the customer's order. Each element in the list represents a product. Every element represents a product. Then you can add a list. So if you wanted to add more products into the list, you can do it. Okay, as the customer adds products to their order, you can use the add function. So here we will be adding using add function to add the list. Okay, the list dynamically grows as new products are added. So once if you're trying to add any new thing, it will be loading it. And third one is you can calculate the total. Okay, so you can iterate through the list and calculate the total order value by summing up the prices of all the products. And if you want to remove any item from the list, you can also remove it. For example, if the customer decides to remove a product from their order, you can remove that using the remove function. Okay, remove function to for in a specific order from the list. And if you wanted to update a quantity, okay, if you wanted to update a quantity, you can, if you want to change the quantity of the product, you can use the set index. So we will be understanding about all these functions. Okay, these are all the default functions which are available for list. And if you wanted to display the products, okay, before purchasing, the customer wants to view the products. Okay, you can retrieve the products from the list and display them in the user interface, providing an overview of the customer order. And if you wanted to apply the discount, you can apply the discount to a specific order by modifying the corresponding element to the list. Okay, applying discounts to the order, or from the total purchase which you have made. And if you wanted to calculate the subtotal, you can calculate it. Okay, and if you want to perform any validations, you can also do it. And if you want to generate the invoice, that is possible with the help of the list, because this is properly structured. So, by utilizing a list data structure in the sales order processing scenario, you can efficiently manage and manipulate the list of products in the customer's order, perform calculations, apply discounts, and generate invoices. The list provides a flexible and dynamic way to handle and process the data associated with the sales order. Okay, so let us understand what are the types of list functions, that is, a built-in functions we have, and how we are going to use that. Okay, first let me just summarize all these things. That is, first one is add. Okay, we have nearly 14 built-in functions in list. 14 built-in. So I have already discussed about what is a built-in function in my previous video. If you haven't checked that, please go and check it. 14 built-in functions are there specifically for list, and we are going to discuss that. So the first one is add function, if it will add an element to the end of the list. Okay, so if you wanted to add an item to a shopping cart, you can use the add. Next one built-in function is what contains. Okay, check if a list contains an element. If you want to check if the list is having the element, then you can use the contains. So checking if a customer's name exists in a list of registered customers or not, you can use the contains. Next one is get index. Okay, so this is a parameter which we have to pass. This is like an argument we have to pass. So here it will retrieve the product name at a particular index in a list of the product. Okay, if you want to get the index. Next is set index. Okay, so updates the element at the specified index. If you want to update any element in a specific index value, then you can do this. So the real time example is modifying the quantity of the specific item in an inventory list. You can go ahead and do this. So the fifth one is what insert. Okay, if you want to insert a new value into the list, then you have to specify in which index you wanted to add and what is the item you wanted to add. So inserting a new item to the list. Okay, you can use it, new item to the already existing list. Okay, adding means you're adding a element to the new list. Inserting in the sense if you wanted to add a new item to the existing list. Next one is the remove existing list with any specific index value. So remove in the sense it will delete any item from the list. Okay, so six things which we have seen. And if you go to the seventh one, you can see remove at index. So if you wanted to specifically remove any list from that index, a specific message from an inbox by its index, okay, or specific item from the list. Okay, and the eighth one is the count. Count will return the number of element, in the sense how many total number of elements you have in the list, that will be displayed by the count. Okay, counting the number of products in the list, totally how much more product, number of products in the list, you can, if you wanted to display, you can go with a count. Next one is add range. Okay, so this I will add multiple elements to the end of the list. That is, already if you have created some list, and if you wanted to add some multiple elements to the end of the list, which will be added. For example, if you want to add five more products into the list, which will be added here, that is a batch group of products into the list. Then the 10th one is the get range. Okay, so get range, what it will do is it will retrieve a range of elements from the list starting at a specified index and containing the specific count. Okay, for extracting a subset of a product from a larger product catalog. If you wanted to if you wanted to get, for example, you can simply understand like yes, if you want to get a batch data from a existing list. Next one is remove range. Like as we discussed about the get range, if you wanted to remove any specific set of products the from the list. Okay, and the 12th one is index of. Okay, so index of returns the index of the first occurrence of the element in the list. So if you wanted to find the position of the specific keyword in a text document or stored in the list. Okay, and the 13th built-in function is last index of. So locating the final occurrence of a specific event in a log entry or the list, that is a last entry. Finally, reverse. So reverse is like reversing the order of the steps in a recipe stored in a list. Okay, if you want to reverse an order of a recipe. So these are the various system functions which we have specifically in list, and now we are going to see how it is going to work, how we can implement it with a very simple, very simple example. So I'll be creating only the actions. I won't be creating any fields or something. I just want to show you how these lists are working. Okay, so let us go to the list function. I'm going to create a T page. Okay, and create your ID. Whatever the ID is available to you, you can create it. um okay, and you can create the page like list functions. Okay, and I don't want to I don't want to use any source table, so I have just deleted the table. And also I'm not going to use any layout, that is any fields, so I'm just going to delete these as well. I'm going to use only the actions. Okay, I just want to show you how we can just use all these functions. Okay, add function and every functions. Okay, so the first one is we are going to use a add function. Okay, add function. So for this, what I'm going to do is what I'm going to create a variable. Okay, and my integer list. Okay, and this should be the list of integer, right? So I have to tell this is a list. Okay, in that case you have to tell what is this all about. If you want to create a list of text, then you have to create a list of text. Okay, and yes, this should be inside the trigger, that is why it is showing you the error. Okay, and I'm going to, because since I'm going to add, whenever it is added, I wanted to see the item whether it is added or not. So I'm going to add integer item. Okay, and this should be integer because I'm going to add the integer value into the list. Now inside the begin, so this is the trigger. Okay, and I have created the local variable. These are local variables which I have created inside the action button. Okay, this is which I have created inside the trigger. Now let me just try to add the list. Okay, my integer list dot, once if you click dot, it will show you what are all the possible built-in functions which are available specifically for the list. You can see all the thing which I have already discussed with you. Okay, you can see all these things here. There's just 14 important built-in functions. So we are just going to add the add here. So add, so what you're going to add, I am going to add what to. Okay, because this is it's an integer, so you can add anything. So I will be adding two more value into it. I'll be adding 25, and I'll be adding, okay, my integer list dot add, and I'll be adding 21. Okay, now what I want to see is what I want to see whenever the once the items are added, I want to see all these list items. So I'm going to use for each integer item. Okay, in my integer integer list. Okay, so do, so this is for each. I have already discussed about for each as well. When you have to use for each, but only if it is a it is a element such like a list or array or data structure. Okay, something like that, dictionaries or something like that. So in that case, then you have to go with message, and inside the message I'm going to just print the integer list added is percentage one, because I have to display the list and I'll be using integer item. And finally you can end with a semicolon and just make it inside the for each. So this is the very first index which we have very first function, built-in function which we have discussed is what add. So let us see how it is working. So let me just change this. Okay, and let us execute this to see whether it is working fine. Okay, So what it has to do is it has to add the value, that is it has to add the integer item into the value, and it has to show it as a message. Okay, all these items. So I have created three items here, right? Like 2, 25, and 21, which should be displayed here. Let us wait for that to launch, that is your business central, which will be launched with the page id which we have given, that is 50123. And now let us see how the add function is working in the list. So click on the actions, click the add function. You can see the integer list added is 2. That is what we have added initially. And then click OK. The integer list added is 25. And finally, we have added integer list added is 21. Yes, it is working fine. Let us go to the next one. Okay, so for better, like to in order to make it easy, so I'm just copying the same thing, same action here, and I'm just pasting it uh, here, and then I'm just going to make it as contains. Okay, because the next one which we're going to see is for the contains. And let it be my integer list, let it be same, and instead of integer boolean integer, I'm just going to make it exist, because I want to see whether that particular list is available or not. So I'm just going to make it as boolean, because it will just show me yes or no. Okay, so my integer list, I have added everything. So what I have to check is, what I have to check whether exist. Okay, so exist, let me just change it to something exists. Okay, colon equal to my integer list dot contains. This contains is a built-in function. Why it is showing the error? Because I have to pass one argument. Okay, so you have to pass one argument as an integer here. So I'm just passing an integer 25 here, and you can see the message, and I have to end with a semicolon because this is not a loop. So the value, so just I wanted to, yes, if it is yes, then I wanted to print yes, it will be printed as yes. If it is not there, it will be printed no. So let us just type exists. Okay, and also I'll also try to check exist colon equal to my integer list dot contains. Okay, so let us try contains. I'm just trying to check whether an integer which is not there in the list. So I'm just going to type message, and inside that I'm going to use percentage one, and I'm going to print exist. That is, it will tell you no, because we don't have the value 3. Okay, just let us save this, let us execute it and see what is the output of this particular function, that is contains function. Let us wait for it to open. So this is very simple. Simply if you just click no, if you just press a dot near your list, it will automatically show you what are all the possible built-in functions you have in your list. Okay, so you can see in the actions you have contains, the first one is s, because we have 25 in our list. And you can see the next one is no, because we don't have this 3 in our list. Okay, so this is what contains. This is to just to check whether your data value is available in your list or not. The same thing you can also apply for any text message as well. Okay, so it is possible for text as well. So I think now let us go and try with set index. Okay, you have to set the index. So I'm just deleting it and making it set index. I'll be explaining 5 built-in functions. Okay, that is, we have already discussed about add, contains, and I'll be discussing about 3 more, where you can try the rest of the index. Okay, that is the rest of the built-in functions, and let me know which one is very challenging for you to understand. So in the set index, what I'm going to show you is how you can use the text. Okay, text value as a list. And here let us just delete all these things. Okay, I'll also delete this. Okay, and here this is a list of text. Okay, as I told, you can use anything inside the list, that is a few possible data types. So we have already tried with the integer. Now we are trying with the text, and here text in. Okay, mm, text in, I'm just going to make it as text because I just wanted to see how it is working. So begin, and in begin I'm going to use my text list dot add. Anyhow, for adding any integer, any list, you have to use dot add. And I'm just going to add business, business here. And then next one, text list dot add, I'm going to add central. And in my next text list, business central AL programming. Okay, so I'm just going to add the AL programming here, and that's it. So let us just go with the next one, that is set index, right? So my text list dot set. Okay, I'm going to set what? I'm going to set the value, that is index. So here you can just leave your cursor, you move your cursor where it will show you. Near the set, first you have to use the integer and then a text value and a variable text, because if you have declared the list as a text, so you can just make it as, okay, I'll make it as 1 dynamics 365. Okay, oh no, I'll just make it as Microsoft. Okay, and set. Fine. So these two things are important here. So I have to tell what is the index value and what you have to set it. And you can see, like, because we have to, since we have to just get the value, right? We have to see whether the value is there. So for that, I'm just going to use the get index. Okay. Uh, I'm just showing you how to use the get as well here. So text in colon equal to my text list dot get, and inside that I'm just going to get the first index, okay, and show you what is the first index here. And if you want to see all these value, you can use the iteration that is for each value and then try that, okay. And in the message, I'm going to print the text in, okay, text in. Fine. So this is just to show you like how it will work, okay, like how the get set index is working and how the set get is also working, okay. So you can also set get list, the message you can display um, the value is set in the specified index, okay. Okay, so yes, you can just execute it and see whether this is working. So, this is set index set. The sense you have to pass mandatory two values. One is the index where you wanted to see this, and what is the value you wanted to see there. Okay, and then in the get, what it will show you, like it will retrieve the value which is there in the index value. So here you can see the set index, the value is set in the specified index, and the integer list added is Microsoft. So why it is showing integer list? Because I have just given here text list added, okay. So this is what a set index and get index, okay. So for example, if you wanted to add, I'll be telling you one more thing. If you wanted to add if you wanted to use a insert function, insert is also a built-in function. So I'm just going to use a same set, okay, insert, okay. So everything is fine, so we can have business central, and you can see if you want to see anything, the value here. For example, how many values values are added. So for each text, okay, text item, I'll be using text, okay, fine. For each text item, sorry, text in, for each text in my text list, do, okay. So I'll be using a message function in order to show the data as percentage 1, and comma, you can use text in, okay, and put a semicolon and come out of the loop so that you can add another value. So here my text list dot insert. If you wanted to insert, what do you have to use? You have to use the index value. Okay, so the that is in the first index I wanted to add. Okay, and I wanted to add Microsoft. Okay, so you wanted to add Microsoft. Now again use the same thing for each. Okay, and then use this, that is the same thing. Okay, it will show you the message that is the Microsoft is added or not. Okay, and also for our convenience I'm just adding um message before insert. Okay, and here I'm also using the same message, that is after insert. Okay, after inserting, what is happening? So let us try to execute this. Here you can see we have used an insert function. Save it and execute it. So see how it is working. Let us close all the existing one. So what it will show you is, the first thing is it will show you in the three message, that is business central AL programming. Okay, so let me just execute the code and see, that is insert function, right? So it will show you, first one is insert. Okay, before insert, fine. So before insert, what are the values you have? So let us see, the data is business, the data is central, the data is AL programming. So you have the business central and AL programming. Okay, because I have given here like the data is, that is why it is printing exactly, and then it is showing you the data which is inserted. Okay, and what happens after insert? The data is Microsoft. Okay, so what happens, the first index which is added is Microsoft, and then you can see business central AL programming, and then okay, Microsoft business central AL programming. I hope you understand. You have to tell what is the index value you wanted to make it. Okay, where you have to keep it. Okay, and the important one is what you can also use this these functions, like wherever you want, you can also add it. And one more function which we are going to see is what, add range. As I told, you can also use the add range function. Okay, so I'm just going to add action, add range. Okay, so I'll be explaining you like how you can use the add range. Application area is equal to all, and trigger on action on, so this is the in action, like on action trigger we are writing all these things. So trigger, I'm going to create a variable here which is my text list. Okay, so I'm just creating a local variable. Whenever we execute that code, it will be created. Okay, list of what I want a list of text. Okay, so list of text, and you can start working, you can start using the add range. So my text list dot, you can see add range here. Okay, my list dot add range. So inside the add range you have to give what are the values you wanted to add. So I can tell like Microsoft. See, I haven't used any dot add function. Okay, I'm directly telling Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. Okay, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. So here I have added this, and then I'm just going to display the list. Okay, so anyhow, if you want to display the list, you have to go with what, you have to use the you have to use the for each. Okay, so the now the thing is added, your list is added to the list. We'll be using what, one more thing we can use it. So text in. Okay, I'm just adding it, and for each my list, I'm just going to print the data. Okay, let me just execute this. Let us wait for it. So what happened, instead of using add function, if you wanted to add multiple values into the list in a single single line of code, you can also use the add range. Okay, so where you can easily add the data as a whole in a single line itself. So here you can see the add range is added Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. Yes, it is added. So these are the five important functions, that is the built-in functions, which we have discussed. Okay, and you can try the rest of the functions. Okay, I think only nine functions which are there, which is easy to understand, which is easy to try and use. If you are finding any difficulties in order to try the any of the built-in functions, please leave your message. I'll be definitely helping you out. Thank you, take care, bye bye.